Every time before it gets dark, this guy sprays alcohol on his front door. As soon as he gets home, the first thing he does is clean his dog. The moment he sees the sun about to set, he quickly puts up special steel plates and shuts all the doors and windows. But even with no lights on inside, he still doesn't feel safe. He curls up in the corner with his dog, holding his rifle close to his chest. That's when he finally feels at ease. The truth is, he's taken all these tough security measures because as soon as night falls,
darkness falls and the outside world is no longer safe for humans. Terrifying hordes of zombies roam the streets, spreading chaos. About 5 years ago in 2012, a virus unleashed havoc. This virus killed 90% of the population, while 9% turned into zombies. These zombies are afraid of sunlight, only coming out at night, and they have an incredibly sharp sense of smell. Our main character, Will, has survived this virus because he's part of the less than 1% of people with a strong...
Will was speeding down the empty streets of New York in his Ford Mustang. He was chasing a deer right in the middle of the city. In this world where he's the last one left, food has become the most basic and essential need. Just as he was about to catch the deer, a lioness suddenly pounced and trapped it before he could. Seeing his prey taken away, Will thought about killing the lioness. Then a lion and a cub appeared too. Seeing all three reminded Will of his dead family.
He doesn't shoot because he knows lions keep nature balanced. Before heading out to look for the others, he checks his underground medical room to see if the mutant rats have recovered after treatment. But he still doesn't notice any difference. Actually, Will is an excellent scientist. He developed a gene therapy based on a virus vaccine. Just when he thought today was going to be another disappointment, he saw that one mutant rat no longer had the strength to attack, which gave him a clue that the rat is slowly getting back to normal. If this experiment done on the rats succeeds, it could even turn those zombies back into normal people. Every day at 8 a.m. sharp, Will leaves the house to search for survivors in zombie hideouts. He drives to the video store daily, changes the ladder there, and checks in on the mannequins he set up as if they were friends. Seeing this, you wouldn't even imagine how lonely a person can get, to the point where they have to make friends out of mannequins. He marks every place he visits on a map and collects food and essential supplies from those spots. Every day, exactly at noon, he makes a call on the radio, hoping to find any other survivors, then drives all the way to the dock, holding on to hope for a miracle. But 3 whole years have passed, and he's never gotten a single response. To fight off the loneliness, Will spends his afternoons at the Enterprise aircraft carrier, standing on a plane and playing golf. Then one day, his dog notices something strange. There's movement way off in the distance. Will immediately...
He picks up his rifle, looks through the scope, and sees that it's a deer. Without wasting time, he grabs his dog and heads out for the hunt. But then something bad happens. The deer, running all over, accidentally gets trapped in a closed space and scared runs inside a building. Maybe the dog hadn't had meat in a long time because without hesitation, it follows the deer inside the building. Will tries to stop him. He gets nervous, but for his dog, he has to go in. Inside, it's completely dark. Nothing can be seen.
He wasn't giving in. Even though I had turned the brightness on the video all the way up, the whole place still felt way creepier and scarier. Right then, Will's heart was pounding like crazy. Even a mirror could have freaked him out. As he went upstairs looking for the dog, suddenly he heard a horrible scream. He was terrified something bad had happened to his dog, but he kept telling himself to stay calm and pushed forward. Following the bloodstains on the stairs, he turned a corner and saw a severed animal head. The only relief was that ahead he saw his German shepherd looking at him in fear. Just as he was about to call the dog's eyes locked straight onto Will's back. He fell behind. Will felt something was off. As soon as he looked back, a terrifying sight appeared. Will started running outside like crazy with his dog, but in the end, they got caught by the zombies. The good thing was, Bill jumped out just in time through the black window, and as soon as sunlight hit him, the zombie immediately collapsed injured. The recent experience scared Will, but thanks to that, he found a hideout. Will set up a trap outside to catch the zombies. He took out a bottle of his own blood and headed to the building.
Will put it right at the door while hiding outside himself. Seriously, within just 2 minutes and 30 seconds, a zombie got caught in the trap. As soon as the trap was triggered, a live zombie was forcefully pulled outside. But then suddenly, with an angry roar, a scary-faced zombie appeared. It was like it wanted to eat Will alive right away. Even he couldn't figure out why this zombie was so furious. After getting back home, Will just kept experimenting on the zombie. He had no idea that this female zombie had just roared like that.
He stayed, She was the wife of that zombie king. Because Will caught her, the war between zombies and humans completely broke out. He was the only living human in the city, but he got really surprised when he saw a mannequin's head suddenly move. Even scarier was the fact that this mannequin, which was supposed to be at the video store's door, somehow ended up miles away. No one understood how. Just then, Bill pulled out his gun and aimed it at the mannequin, thinking that maybe a person was hiding there.
They placed the dummy so Bill could talk to it, but he didn't see any people around because it was actually a trap set by the Zombie King for revenge since Bill had captured his wife. When Will goes up to the dummy and leans down to check the water beneath it, suddenly the trap laid by the Zombie King activates and Bill is lifted into the air. Because of the blow to Will's head, he passes out. Just as the sun is about to set, Bill wakes up to the sound of his alarm clock. As soon as
the sun's light fades away and creepy zombies start coming out, Bill quickly pulls a knife from his waist and nervously cuts the rope tied around his legs. But as he falls to the ground, the knife plunges straight into him. Now things got even worse because the last rays of the setting sun were disappearing. Suddenly, Will felt something was wrong. Scary noises started coming from the dark building ahead. Right then, the Zombie King appeared and unleashed 3 fierce hunting dogs. But the sun's remaining rays,
they couldn't reach him because of the reason. But as soon as the sun sets a few minutes later, the zombie hunting dogs go crazy and attack. Right now, our main character is seriously injured. Between life and death, there's just a single ray of hope. It's the German Shepherd who stuck by him through this apocalypse. This German Shepherd is his only companion, his reason to live. He's terrified that his dog might die. Come on, there was a pistol in the car. Will started crawling towards the car, but as the last rays of the sun disappeared, then
the attack by the dogs got more intense. He didn't have much time left. Bearing the pain, he gets up and moves forward on all fours. But after a few steps, he falls to the ground again. Right then, the ferocious zombie dogs pounce on him. But Will stops their attack with bullets from his gun. Just then, another zombie dog lunges at him. Before he knows it, the sharp teeth of the vicious dog are about to tear his cheek when a German Shepherd shows up just in time and saves him. But the worst part now is
it was about to happen. The German Shepherd had just been bitten by another dog in a fight. Will's heart sank because only he had the antibodies, not the German Shepherd. After getting home, Will immediately gave an antiviral injection. He picked the dog up in his arms and hoped the German Shepherd would be okay. Smiling, he tried to reassure himself that his beloved companion would get better. Then the German Shepherd started losing fur. When he lifted the dog's eyelids, he saw in the corners of its eyes signs of the illness.
Symptoms started showing up, and deadly signs appeared in the mouth, too. Will was heartbroken, but reality forced him to make a painful decision, and against his will, Will strangled his love with his strong hands, that love that has stood by him through countless lonely, dark nights. He was completely shattered, but at the same time, Will noticed a strange problem. When a person infected by the virus turns into a zombie, they don't have much brain left, yet somehow they still act just like humans.
How could he have laid it out? But when he looked at the seat next to him and saw no sign of Sam, in that moment Will just couldn't take it anymore. So that very night, he jumped into his car and sped straight to the harbor, starting to attack those zombies without thinking twice. Being in the car kept the zombies from doing much harm, but they kept coming relentlessly. They completely surrounded the car and started breaking the windows. Then some zombies climbed onto a lamp and dropped it right onto the car. Will got trapped inside the car.
He left. Seeing the crowd moving towards him, he quickly tried to get out of the car. But then even more zombies showed up. The zombie leader ordered them to attack him. Before Will could do anything, the car crashed and flipped onto the side, and the monster was right in front of him. Now Will was totally trapped, like a deer caught in headlights. Death was closing in fast. Just then, a bright light appeared, like someone was coming to help him. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore and passed out. When he woke up,
he was lying in his house with a bandage on his leg. He saw a woman there with a child. It had been 3 years since Will had seen another person. He didn't know how to talk to people anymore. Then the woman started introducing herself. Anna told Will that she had heard about him on the radio. She had come to New York with her child and waited all day, but Will never showed up. She was thinking about going to Vermont because it's a safe place for people. Hearing this, Will's face got angry.
He told Anna that there was no safe place anywhere around here. The whole of America was destroyed. Anna wanted to argue with Will, but then Will yelled at Anna. He always believed he was the only living human left on Earth, which put a huge mental strain on him. In his despair, Will completely relied on science and logic and focused all his attention on finding a cure for the virus. His entire life and hopes were pinned on that one goal. But Anna's news suddenly changed his whole way of thinking.
When Will woke up, he found himself lying in his own house with a bandage wrapped around his leg. Standing nearby was a woman and a child. It had been 3 long years since Will had seen another human being, and he didn't even know how to talk to people anymore.
The woman introduced herself as Anna. She told Will that she had heard his daily radio broadcasts and travels all the way to New York with the child to find him. She waited the entire day, but when Will never showed up, she planned to leave for Vermont, a place rumored to be safe for survivors.
Hearing this, Will became furious. He told Anna that there was no safe place left anywhere in America. In his mind, the entire world was already destroyed, and he believed he was the last human alive. Years of loneliness had pushed him to rely on only science and logic.
Will had devoted everything to finding a cure for the virus. That single goal was the only thing keeping him alive. But Anna's words shook him deeply because she claimed there were other survivors still out there.
Will locked himself in his room, struggling with his thoughts for a long time. Eventually, he accepted reality and stepped outside. Anna tried to convince him to leave with her and go to a quarantine zone, but Will refused. He said he wasn't leaving his home or his research behind.
Later, Anna went down into Will's laboratory. When she saw the female zombie frozen inside the glass chamber, she was shocked. Will explained that he had been experimenting on zombies, using them to develop a vaccine.
Anna noticed hundreds of zombie photos covering the walls. These weren't random killings. Will had been studying them carefully. As the sun began to set, Will quickly sealed all the doors and windows, preparing for the night.
Before Will could respond to Anna's insistence about leaving, a loud noise echoed from outside. When he looked through the small window, he saw a massive horde of zombies moving straight toward the house.
Will couldn't believe it. He had always taken extreme precautions to hide his scent, yet the zombies had somehow tracked him down. Later, he realized that when Anna rescued him earlier, she hadn't taken the same safety measures, and the zombies followed her trail.
There was no time to argue or place blame. Will immediately turned on all the exterior lights. Normally, zombies feared bright light, but this time was different.
The zombies destroyed the streetlights one by one and continued advancing. Realizing the situation was out of control, Will activated his final defense system and detonated the explosives surrounding the house.
When the smoke cleared, the zombies outside were gone, but when Will called out for Anna, there was no response. Sensing something was wrong, he rushed back inside the house.
Suddenly, a zombie attacked him from behind. Will fought back desperately, slamming it onto a table and pretending to be unconscious. When the zombie let its guard down, Will struck it with a tool, but it barely had any effect.
The zombie threw Will aside and fled upstairs. Will grabbed his rifle and fired at a gas cylinder, causing an explosion that sent the zombie flying out the window. Even then, it escaped and disappeared into the night.
Will hurried to find Anna and the child. He discovered another zombie inside the house, while Anna and the child hid silently under a cupboard. Will stepped forward, risking his life to draw the zombie away.
Just then, a terrifying roar echoed outside. When Will opened the door, he saw the zombie king himself. This wasn't a random attack. The zombies were organized, intelligent, and seeking revenge.
Will rushed into the basement. Will locked the main door while Anna hid with the child inside the lab. That's when Anna noticed something unbelievable and called out to Will.
The vaccine was working. The zombie king's wife was slowly turning back into a human.
The whole army was boiling with anger. As the zombie king kept pushing against the glass door, the door slowly started to crack. At that moment, Will realized his situation. As he looked around absent-mindedly, his eyes landed on the butterfly mark on the woman's neck. Seeing the butterfly, he felt like he finally understood everything.
Will immediately grabbed a container and took serum from the zombie king's wife because her blood acted like a vaccine. In other words, it could create antibodies. This discovery meant there was finally a real cure for the virus.
And that's where this incredible movie comes to an end. What did you think of the story? If you enjoyed it, share it with your friends, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.